Welcome, everyone. This is the PY47 CDBG public hearing, and Mark Barnhart is going to speak.
Thanks, Sonia. Did you already take a roll call to see who else is on the line? I heard a few people.
I have Margaret Reynolds, Carla Miklos, Charlie Griggs, Sabrina Wakeman, and yourself. And Brenda, I didn't catch your last name.
Marcian from Wakeman Boys and Girls Club.
Okay.
Awesome.
Great.
Anyone else that joined?
This is Deanna Buecher with Team Wolfgang.
Hi, Deanna.
How are you?
Good. How are you?
I'm good, thanks.
Well, thanks for joining.
Anyone else that we missed?
Ralston from Opening Doors, Fairfield County.
I'm sorry, what was your name?
This is Pam Ralston from Opening Doors, Fairfield County.
Okay. Welcome.
Hi, Pam.
Hi.
Anyone else that we missed?
Shaniqua from Bridgeport Neighborhood Trust.
Hey, Shaniqua.
Hi, how are you?
Good.
Hi, Shaniqua.
Okay. Did I miss anyone else? Okay. So hopefully you have all those names and contact information, yep. Sonia. So
yes, I do.
Welcome, everyone. As has been the case for the last almost 12 months, we've been conducting things virtually. So I appreciate all of you taking a few minutes out of your evening tonight to provide some feedback as it relates to our Community Development Block Grant Program for Program Year 47, which is the federal fiscal year that begins October 1st, 2021 and goes through September 30th of 2022. So this past year we did update our 5-year consolidated plan. That information hopefully is still available online. So if you want to refer to that at some point, you can certainly get that through the town's website or by contacting me or Sonia Hine, who can make sure to share a copy with you. We did get notice this week, I believe, from HUD
yesterday,
in terms of the funding that we can expect for the upcoming federal fiscal year. It is a slight reduction in funds available from the current year's allocation. So HUD has indicated that we can expect to receive $518,000 in roughly $518.06 for the upcoming program year, which is again a slight reduction from the current year where our allocation was $521,653. So with that said, I think most of you are familiar with the program. The town is an entitlement community under the block grant program, has been probably since the inception back in the mid-1970s, which means that by virtue of its population size and needs, pursuant to the formula, we receive an annual allocation from HUD through the Community Development Block Grant Program that we can then use to meet needs within the community. It's a fairly versatile program in that we can use it to meet a wide variety of housing community development needs that we identify as priority needs within the community, subject to our 5-year plan. But there are some limitations. As folks on the phone may know, we can only allocate up to 15% of our grant towards public service activities and another 20% to cover general program administration costs and planning and capacity building activities. And we typically max out those categories, and then the balance is allocated to meet needs that are identified by the community and all of you. We do need to satisfy one of 3 broad national objectives. The vast majority of our projects, in virtually all cases, they meet the need of benefiting persons or areas of low to moderate income. But in the past, we have allocated funding to projects to meet other national objectives, including preventing or eliminating slums or blight, and meeting an urgent need within the community, which has been probably more apropos with the pandemic. So we're just beginning the planning process for the program year. There are a wide array in the program description, types of eligible activities, and then things that we cannot consider or fund under the program. We do try to meet those the national objectives. Obviously, we need to satisfy that. There are some census tracts in town that are considered, while they don't have a preponderance of persons of low to moderate income, they do meet the exception criteria. They have concentrations, and those are eligible for investment activity under the area median income area benefit standard. And I think the only other thing I want to stress is as we begin the process, the most important milestone for those of you who may be considering submitting an application for funding consideration is our deadline of March 15th to do that. Then we'll go through the process of reviewing those. If we need additional information from you, we'll be in touch. And then go through a process of reviewing and getting those approved by the various bodies that do meet and consider these applications or allocation plan, which would be the Board of Selectmen and RTM. And we try to complete that process by June so that we can get the annual action plan up to HUD in accordance with their time deadlines. So I'm happy to take any questions that folks may have at this time, and if not, I think what may work best with this call arrangement is just to go around the horn and give everyone an opportunity to speak, and we'll go from there.
Mark.
Thank you, Mark.
From Building Neighborhoods Together, I'm new to the organization. I'm new to this grant. How important is it that we are just serving the town of Fairfield population versus, maybe the greater Fairfield population? And maybe that's just primary loaded question I wanted to ask.
It's pretty important. We don't get a lot of funding, so obviously we try to show that we're meeting a need within the community in terms of the unmet needs identified in our consolidated plan. So we typically look to see, it can obviously serve a broader population group, but we're hoping that the activities that we're considering do benefit persons within the community. I would say, much of our allocations in the past have tended to fall on the lines of affordable housing related activities, but there's certainly other projects that we can look at as well.
Yeah, I think we have ways to do that. I just wanted to make sure.
Yeah, and if you want to have an offline conversation about something you might be considering and want to delve into more detail, we're happy to do that.
Yeah, I think we'd like to.
Sonia, do you want to just randomly call on people based on the folks who signed up and see if they have any comments, rather than it's going to be otherwise hard to play referee.
Hi. So. Hi, Sonia.
Hi.
Hi, it's Mary Ellen McGuire from Bridge House. How are you?
Hi, Mary Ellen. Thanks for joining.
Thank you for having this call. I just wanted to just say thank you so much to you and to Mark and to everyone there for their support over the last couple of years. We've had a rough year, as everyone has, with COVID, and you can only imagine the mental health concerns we're dealing with.
Yeah.
And we've actually lost some members to COVID who have passed away. And so it's been a difficult year, but I'm just so grateful to the town of Fairfield and to you folks especially for being so thoughtful of Bridge House and for continuing to support us. I think we're all going to be seeing the fallout from this illness for many years to come with respect to mental health concerns.
Yeah.
And we're just very, very proud to say that we're being supported by the CDBG monies that you're giving us. So thank you very much.
Welcome. Okay, Margaret Reynolds.
Sure. I'll talk briefly, and Sabrina, if you want to hop in, feel free. So last year was the first year. Huh?
It's a whole team here.
Exactly. Yeah, we came out in force. So anyway, yeah, thank you, and ditto everything that was just said as far as the support that you guys give, and also your availability and talking through things. Obviously, it's been a tough year, but we appreciate the support that we had for the mentoring program at McKinley, which wasn't at McKinley because we couldn't go into the schools. So luckily, we were able to pivot and run that at the Southport Clubhouse. So we'll be applying for support again for the next year and hoping that everything will be somewhat back to normal and we'll be in the schools and, be able to have the full mentoring and mentees and mentors in Holland Hill and McKinley. So there's really not a whole lot of change of what it used to be. We're just hoping to go back to normal, and we appreciate everything you've done in the last year and allowing some sort of flexibility with our program change.
Okay.
Sabrina, do you want to add anything?
Yeah, hi, this is Sabrina, also with Wakeman Boys and Girls Club, and I think I would echo what Margaret said. What I think has been very helpful even during this time of COVID has been the additional funding also that we were able to receive to be able to provide what I'm going to say direct service to our Fairfield kids and families to be able to have remote learning. So along with the mentoring program, which we were able to do, we were able to provide out-of-school remote learning access and support, and we could not have done that without the CDBG money. So we thank you for that.
Great.
Yeah, definitely.
Let's see. Deanna Buecher, did you want to say something?
Yeah, sure. Yeah, this is Deanna with Team Wolfgang, and I'm actually new to this application process as well. And thank you, Sonia. You've been very helpful with all of my questions that I've been emailing you. And one of the specific questions I had, usually, if you could give me a ballpark, how many organizations usually apply in the public service category? Do you have a general idea?
Oh, at least a dozen, I would say.
A dozen, right? Yeah, about a dozen.
Okay.
It's pretty. We have a lot of interest in that category.
Yeah. Okay. And you're estimating 15% of the total budget will go towards that.
Correct.
That's all we're allowed to,
okay.
and we usually subscribe. We usually budget the full amount.
Right. Okay. That was my only question for now. But again, Team Wolfgang thanks you as well. And the COVID funds that we received was just wonderful and getting put to good use. As you know, we've struggled as well with our population and having to go completely remote. Now we're trying to get them hopefully back into the new production facility, and we're really looking forward to that. So thank you for all your support, and that was right now the only question I had.
Okay. Carla?
Hi. Thank you. Sorry, I was muted. I muted myself. Everybody here at Operation Hope, we're very grateful for the funding that we get, and certainly the funding that you provide for us for the services for our affordable housing were definitely put to good use this year. As everybody's mentioned, it's been a tough year, especially around mental health. But the money that we received through the additional COVID funding allowed us to expand our pantry reach and provided for PPE that was really necessary, and we're super grateful for that. So, we've been fortunate to be funded for many years and to be providing these necessary services. So I just want to say thank you very much, and for being so accessible to us when we need it. We really appreciate it.
Okay.
Thanks, Carla.
Thank you. Pam Ralston, did you want to say anything? Pam, are you there?
You don't need to say anything either. You can simply
you don't
pass.
need to say anything. Okay. Jeanette Allam, are you there? Did you want to say anything? Okay. Am I missing? Shaniqua, did you want to say anything?
Hello, yes. Sorry, I was on mute. First of all, echoing what everyone said, thank you very much for your time. My particular question would be in terms of, just support and what you guys are looking to, how much are you looking to, support sort of the expansion of established programming that has already been, impacting in that area versus, responsive programming to what's currently happening and looking to expand, in response to, these particular circumstances and times?
Well, we did receive some supplemental funding for related to the coronavirus pandemic, and we programmed that, to the best of our abilities to try to meet needs that were identified here to allow the community to respond to the pandemic, and most importantly, all of you, our partners, to respond to needs that you're seeing. I think, in terms of the regular community development block grant allocation, we're looking more towards the priorities that are identified in the consolidated plan that are not pandemic specific.
Okay.
I think there's a certain level of some organizations certainly have applied for and received funding over several years, and it's a continuation of existing programs or service activities. But where there's an opportunity as well as funds available, it would be great if we could, there's certainly need out there. So to the extent to which we can expand those services, it's great. But I just don't know with the funds. It's always a balancing act because the funds are limited.
Absolutely. Thank you.
Okay. Brenda, I don't know if you want to mention anything. I think a lot of people from Wakeman spoke, but I don't know if you have anything to say or ask.
No, appreciate the opportunity and your consideration.
You're welcome. I don't think I'm missing anyone. If anyone else wants to...
We'll just throw it open. See if anyone else has
anyone else wants to say anything or ask.
This is Charlie Griggs again. Can you go through the procedure of your reviewing and your selecting of the grants and how you do that again?
Sure. It's somewhat spelled out in the application packet, but we'll first make sure that it satisfies a national objective, the proposed activity, as well as is eligible for funding under the program and is not specifically ineligible. So that's kind of the first level review. To the extent that we need to clarify any aspect of that, we'll certainly be in touch with the individual applicant to make sure we have a full understanding of it. And then, we do need to look at the needs and priorities that were identified in our consolidated plan, and this activity should relate back to that 5-year plan in some way and help us meet the needs that were identified there and make progress towards addressing those issues. So that would be another level of review. And then lastly, we're always looking to see where how best to use these funds to leverage other dollars and what's the how does the program best fulfill needs that are identified here and get the most bang for the buck, if you will. But that's kind of the broad level review. And at some point during that process, we have to make a recommendation to the first selectwoman, who then will present an allocation plan to the Board of Selectmen. At that time, we typically have a draft allocation plan, and we go to public hearing and ask for additional comments on it to make sure that we're hitting the right notes, so to speak. And once the Board of Selectmen have reviewed and signed off on it, it goes to the RTM for their final review and approval. And if that goes according to plan, then we hopefully by the end of June we'll have all approvals, local approvals in place, and then we'll simply need to have to do the writing to support it and submit that to HUD in accordance with their time frame.
So in the public hearing, are specific grant applications actually discussed, or is it a broad discussion?
It's more of a broad. I mean, my experience has been in the past, we propose an allocation plan, and we'll get comments as to whether or not, to the extent we receive any comments, it's comments as to whether or not we should be prioritizing, more in this area or less in other areas, that type of thing. But people can provide comments, however, whatever they would like to talk about is certainly we're open to hearing those.
That's great. Thanks, Mark.
Anyone else?
Other questions or comments or thoughts? And again, both Sonia and I are available for further conversations offline. If you have a specific project or activity you're not quite sure about, I got an email from someone this evening before we started the call indicating that she couldn't make tonight's meeting and she wanted to talk about an idea that she had and whether or not it was potentially eligible for funding. So we're happy to have those conversations at any point in time just to help you navigate that process.
Well, that's very much appreciated.
Any other comments before we close the hearing? This is not the most ideal format. We love to have these in-person meetings where we kind of go around.
It's so different from last year.
And share ideas and thoughts, and it's more of a free-for-all, but it's not the easiest on a phone line. So I do appreciate your bearing with us with these times.
Thank you very much.
All right. I don't hear anything else, so I guess we can close the hearing, Sonia.
Okay, it's 6:25, and we're adjourning the hearing. Thank you so much.
Thank you.
Thank you very much, everyone.
Bye-bye.
Take care now.
Have a good night.
You too.
Bye-bye.
Thank you.